No?
It had been a good 4 years of finishing at Exeter College, studying film. I remember the last film I ever directed was Invisible Eyes, which was this 1984 THX 1138 inspired dystopian film. But when you don't have the budget or the crew, it's an incredibly difficult prospect, and you find yourself on any student project directing, writing, producing, editing, screenwriting as well, even composing, and I kind of got sick of it. I really did. So when I went to Falmouth to study film, I vowed to not direct at all. I had a lot of great times making short films like Don't Touch the Human, gosh, this is bringing it back, it's been a good 3 years, Busy Night, Devika, which was a lot of fun, and Night Boys, which is a walking turd in my opinion. I don't like that film at all, but I enjoyed making it with the people. But yeah, sadly, for many reasons, film school didn't work out. But I look back on it very fondly, but it did lead to kind of a state of depression and not thinking, oh no, am I done? Am I ever going to make something again? Because I feel like I've lost a love of filmmaking. But then credit where credit is due to my friends Bailey Braund and Tom Taylor, making films like One Last Job and 2 Points. Great experiences, great to be acting for fun again, writing for fun again, and it just brought a love of filmmaking back that I thought was gone, to be honest. And then Bailey and Tom had always teased me about when's your kind of comeback film? Everyone's got a comeback film with them, and I thought, I don't know, it's been 4 years, I haven't got anything in the tank. But then Space Tourist came along and it was meant to be. It's hard to pinpoint exactly how we came on the idea, but I think George and I had started going through initial concepts of how about an alien who comes to Earth to twat around. And it was very much in the vein of films like The Hidden and stuff like that, without any meaning or subtext. And George and I love that kind of stuff. We love taking the piss out of things and having nothing to say, as we did with Full Suction, which was one of the most enjoyable filming experiences ever. And I think once we had landed on the idea of it needs to be an alien who comes down during the winter because he's attracted to kind of winter climates, we thought, okay, there's an idea here, but we can't rely on in North Devon it ever snowing, because that happens maybe once every 10 years. So we kind of realised we've been waiting around a long time to ever make that kind of film. But I think the core idea was there, that okay, all we need now is just to find visually the mask. And then we saw the mask on eBay. When George and I first saw that mask, we roared with laughter, and that's when we knew it had come to life, and we realised it doesn't need to be weather dependent. We can just make it about literally a space tourist that comes down to Earth and does basically nothing. Being a sci-fi nerd in general, it was kind of an amalgamation of a lot of things, but in particular it was Neil Blomkamp, his mockumentary format that he used in District 9, which I absolutely love that movie, and I love his latter works especially. But in District 9 especially, I thought, oh, there's something to be made there. But also avoiding all the cliches, all the tropes of the genre of the alien comes down and invades or imparts wisdom or a warning for portentous events that are to come. George and I realised that we just wanted to make as fun a sci-fi alien film as we could with 13 quid. That's literally all we had. 10 quid went to the mask and 2 quid went to the Knobbly Bobblies, didn't they? So, the Knobbly Bobblies. So it's really hard to pinpoint exactly what films inspired me. It was in general just a lot of sci-fi stuff that George and I had grown up with. Well, it's interesting. It's kind of honed into you when you're at film school that there's only one specific right way to do it, and it's through Celtex and Final Draft and all of these, industry standard, screenwriting software. And I just had no time for it when I was at Falmouth. I don't like that mindset that there's only one correct way to do it, because for me it was a case of all the ideas I had, I'd write them down on paper, and then actually written up into a LibreOffice Word document, release it as a PDF screenplay, and that was it. It was just kind of ideas. That's how the film developed. It was, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we got George to scratch his balls in public? Wouldn't it be fun if we got George to poo in public? and then we kind of started structuring a story around that. So it really was about how much can I humiliate my brother and get a laugh out of it. I think the first scenes we shot, we were going to go and film this scene where Billy sees a road ahead closed sign in the middle of the road, just down from where we live. And we were ready to film it because we thought it'd be funny that he's almost irreverent to road safety. Sees a sign, looks at it for 10 seconds and then leaves. Goes down the road he's not supposed to. But just as we were going to go and film there, the sign's gone. And we're, oh, great. But by this point we had 90% of the script written, if I remember. And we thought, okay, we're outside, let's not waste a day, let's make something of it. And we filmed all of the athletic scenes, you know, where he's hanging on and falling from bars, he's trying to hold on to ropes and all of that stuff. So, and it was just starting to rain. I remember it was just starting to rain by the time we got all of that. So, you know, that was what we originally shot, was the athletic stuff. Great question. I think the easiest, oh my word, it's actually really hard to think. The easiest scene to film, oh, I don't know, because I always think of, if it's easy, it means we didn't have to record many takes of it. But I think all of them took quite a few takes because we're all about timing, because obviously comedy is timing. I actually don't know what the easiest shot was. I think, you know what, the easiest one was George scratching his balls at the very beginning. Because even though I'm laughing behind the camera, we got that in about 1 or 2 takes. Because even if someone's laughing like you were, your head's out of frame, so no one's going to see you laughing because it's a close-up on your bollocks. So that's how we got away with it. But the hardest scenes, I think, were probably the ending, where Billy's in the background and David Battenberg's in the foreground, and we had to, it was just George and I filming. So we had to manually set the focus to me and have you in the background and know where we were being blocked, and making sure that the 4:3 aspect ratio was fitted as well, so we weren't leaving frame. So that was probably the hardest scene to film. Oh, I didn't shot list or storyboard at all. See, that's another thing I hated during college and film school, was that a kind of stringent structure of, right, you've written the script, now you need to storyboard, now you need to shot list. And not being a very artistic person in terms of illustration, I thought, it didn't even come to mind making Space Tourist. I thought, I don't really feel the need to. There were some scenes where I knew exactly how they were going to be shot. When, for example, when Billy's walking up the hill, I knew exactly what I wanted that to be, almost an extreme wide of seeing Billy walk up. So that was cool. But no, for the most part, 98% of it was, we'll just go out and shoot on the day and see what the shots will look like. Yeah, absolutely. It really did, because, like I said, when you're in the structure of college and film school, you're expected to do things a certain way to reach a goal or an assessment criteria or a grade, and this film wasn't about that at all. It was very much a reaction against 4 years of college and film school and being told to do it a specific way. Whereas George and I had basically a middle finger for any sense of structure or form. We made a short film for fun, not to be taken seriously, which I feel many are guilty of, including myself. When I was studying film, I really felt like I needed people to take me seriously, which in hindsight is a stupid thing. So it was the way we approached Space Tourist. I hope people can see that in the finished film. Especially in the way we use bloopers in the actual film, when Billy has fallen down from the bar, and that blooper is literally from a previous take of me laughing at George because of him falling, and my mum, what's it called, coughing because she's faking a laugh, and I've just seen her and gone beep, keep recording because mum's coughing, and there was just some stuff like that. I thought, I don't care if it doesn't make sense or not, it's going in, because it somehow adds to it. It was definitely a blending of the two, because I remember, especially when we're filming the hill scene at the beginning where Billy transports himself to Earth, that we always needed to, every time we filmed that, we always went back and checked the footage straight away, checked the rushes and try and, added the the aspect ratios, added the black and white to see if it's okay. So that way you know, okay, we don't have to go back and reshoot anything. Because the first time George and I attempted that, it was raining horribly, it was torrential rain, it was really, really inclement weather. You just didn't know what it was going to do from 1 minute to the next. And we go back the first time and realise all of the footage is basically unusable. But it was a good trial run. We learned that we should have done it differently, and so we went back and made it better. But yeah. We chose monochrome because we could hide all the imperfections in lighting, because we're filming outside and the weather, especially in North Devon, is incredibly unreliable. It literally, as I look out the window now, it's grey skies, just for a change. And 4x3 because it looked cool. Literally, there is no narrative reason why it's in 4x3 and why it is in black and white. It just looks cool. And this comes back down to our kind of mentality as filmmakers, was when we were making Space Tourist, we just wanted to make something for fun. We didn't really care if it made sense or not, if the creative decisions were justified. We just wanted to make something that looks cool. And I've always wanted to make something with a really cool aspect ratio. Since Justice League, since Zack Snyder's Justice League, his use of the 4x3 looked incredible. And since then I always wanted to make something like that. But the toughest thing about that was, for some reason, my camera, my Canon camera, I couldn't change the aspect ratio during filming. So George and I always had to film imagining how the shots were going to look with the 4x3 added in post-production. So it was a classic case of fix it in post. But I'm really pleased with the way the film looks, you know, considering that we had to have the foresight of, okay, remember the 4x3 bars. Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Excitement, because I've never ever made a short film that I've looked at and gone, that's exactly the way I wanted it to be. Now obviously when you're making a short film, whatever it may be, there are always going to be some choices that result in changes where it feels or looks different, but I was beyond excited with the finished film. I was really, really pleased with the way it looked, the way it sounded, the way it was pacing for me. The older I get and the more I delve into film, the more I become more attuned to pacing and how important that is. You know, there's nothing worse than a 2 hour, especially with comedy, there's nothing worse than a comedy that outstays its welcome. And George and I's motto was very much brevity is the soul of wit. So let's get in, let's get out, and let's make people laugh, let's hopefully put a smile on people's faces and call it a day, and then let's move on. So yeah, I was really, really happy with the way the film looked. Cathartic. Genuinely cathartic, considering, like I said, for personal reasons I'm not going to divulge, but leaving film school during the government's reaction to SARS-CoV-2 and having your dream, that was my dream all my life, was to be a filmmaker, and kind of having that broken down, and then watching Alcyon Childs' expose of Freemasonry and how that controls not only for the film industry but everything else, and I realised that as a Bible-believing Christian I couldn't be a part of that. You know, it was tough. It was really tough I'm struggling to come to terms with it now, because that's really what I wanted to do my whole life. But that's the way it is. You know, I wasn't willing to compromise, and then for personal reasons, film school wasn't going to work out anyway. But life moves on. So, you know, thinking that film was done for me, finally, after 4 years, thinking of an idea like Space Tourist that my brother and I could get passionate about, go back to basics, make something that we were really excited to make. It meant the world to me. It meant the world to me, and I had such a good time, and I look back on it with very fond memories. And the key thing is we laughed a lot. We never stopped laughing during the making of that film, and I think that's what filmmaking for me should always be, is fun. Filmmaking for fun, so to speak, you know. Righto, this is weird. We've never done this before, have we?
No, we never have.
Action. By the way, you are making a heck of a lot of noise. Can you just you're distracting me?
Well, here we go.
You're like Sharpay in High School Musical. People are like, ma. Why are we referencing that? TH. But in general, Neil Blomkamp played a big inspiration. What are you doing?
Huh? Sorry.
That's true, isn't it? That is so true. It's so. I guarantee you that Mike will hear that and it'll be like. What's the time say on the camera, by the way?